Our next speaker is one of us, an alumnus of the college from the 2002-2003 Bertha von Suttner promotion. Alfonso Alcolea inevitably met his wife at the college. There's a reason we call it the College of Love. Administrator at the Committee of the Regions in Brussels. He was in fact named Speaker of the Year at the Committee of Regions 3 years in a row. He's fluent in 8 languages, which is the total sum of languages Ishil and I speak. Es un placer presentaros a Alfonso Alcolea.
Thank you very much, everybody. So, first, it's thrilling for me to be in the old room E with new chairs, I must say, and to see faces that are similar to those that I saw 12 years ago, and in other moments of my life where I have been coming to the College of Europe. I have to clarify that I met my wife after the College of Europe, but she studied here. So you see the strategy? so during the year, the life was different. Well, first, when my name is Alfonso Alcolea, you have me here, and I'm not a coach. I was invited to give a motivational speech. That's challenging for someone who is currently a little bit demotivated by other reasons. As I said, I'm not a professional coach. I'm not an expert in human resources. I'm not an expert in individual careers. It is true that I have been Speaker of the Year several times in my institution, but mostly what I wanted to introduce myself, I wanted to introduce myself as someone who has failed very often, and someone who continues to do so repeatedly. So I say this because when I present my career, I say my current situation is the outcome of accumulation of failures. And out of those failures, I do something that makes me look like as I am now. And I speak about this kind of motivational speech, or however you can call it. It came out simply because I like receiving visiting groups to the institutions. Most of them are, many of them are politicians, but most of them are students. And so I explain the institution very quick, and then I start talking about how to live in Brussels, how to find a job in Brussels, how to orientate your career towards Europe, blah, blah, blah. And finally, I see how sleepy people suddenly wake up and listen to me, and in the end, I end up telling things that are completely different to what I'm supposed to tell, which is the functioning of the fascinating institution called the European Committee of the Regions. So this is why my experience comes somehow of looking backwards, looking by the rear mirror, and see how what I do is telling the people what I have learned, or what could I teach to people who are in the end of their studies and the beginning of their professional career. So sometimes I think this photo, I find myself more going backwards, I think, because sometimes I find that my past life has been very easy and my future life is becoming more complicated. And that is also one of the first lessons I want to tell you. The obstacles that you have in front of you are not as big as they look like. Life is generous, and you are lucky to be here. A little bit of effort, a little bit of commitment and excellence, or however you can call it, a little bit of push that you do in your life is very rewarding, because you are here, and maybe when you get the scholarship to come to the College of Europe, you thought, oh, they have given it to me. Or when you get a high mark in the university, you thought, oh, this is too high for what I studied. It's a feeling that you feel, but that is something, and when you look at the persons that are around you, and how these persons will change your life after the College of Europe, because the human value is the biggest value you get, sometimes you feel, how lucky I am, what have I done to be so lucky? So sometimes the motorway is behind and not in front. But always be thinking about this. The first tip I have to give is very elementary. The time is now. So enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the freedom that you have in this moment. Enjoy the freedom that you have to be yourselves and to grow yourselves in the way that you want to grow. You have the age, you have the moment, but the age can be now. I'm 41, 42 next month. And I think that the moment is still now to start new things. So when I bought my skate 3 years ago because I wanted to explore new ways of mobility, and my children are very happy. But I mean, what I want to tell you is that never, and especially not now, never think that something is not for you. Never think that something is too far. Never think that this objective has too many candidates or it's too difficult. Why? First, because you can, because life is generous, as I have said. And second, because even if there are many candidates for the goal you are looking for, there is always a piece of cake for you. And the excellent candidates are not as numerous as the bulk of candidates. So simply do your effort, do what you want, because that is where you will spend the rest of your life. Doing what you want or what you are choosing now. Then how to do it? How to do it? I always say this to the students. Create your own profile. Is what we are talking about, individual branding, how to sell yourself, how to invent yourself, and how to present yourself. Normally, the traditional training institutions, the traditional universities give you a diploma, and that diploma is the same as the diploma of all the other persons that have come out of this place. We tend to play the cards with the same cards they gave us because I wanted to be a diplomat. Then I had my second failure. I failed the competition. But someone, when I didn't know what to do with my life, someone asked me to work on the field of environment. So I got a lot of training and experience in environment. Then I came to the College of Europe, but I had a luggage of law, environment, and some professional skills, and some diplomacy because I had failed the competition in Spain. So finally I passed the competition, a specialized competition in environment that was called in that year where I was in Bruges. I had studied 2 years for a competition, 10 hours per day, and I failed. And then I studied 1 hour for a competition in the European Commission, and I passed. Because I had all this baggage with me. Because I could sell myself as an expert in environment and international politics. My question is, are you able to explain yourselves who you are in one sentence? It's difficult, probably it's complicated now, but you have to think about that to create your own brand. For example, I'm a lawyer specialized in competition. As simple as that. I'm an activist in politics, in an institution, or in a place that is somehow institutionalized. I want to be an expert in communication. All these things are questions you have to ask yourselves, because the profile means precisely, means a shape, means a hook where you can be fished from, because that will make the difference between you and the other person. And your target will think about you like, for example, I don't know, you can be a political activist, you can be a student of medicine who has gone to cooperation to Bolivia, you can be a member of a religious association that is very interested in social affairs, but not everybody will like that or be interested in that, but you have a target, because the target is the following step. Join your tribe. When I was studying, I learned to join the matter, join the law, join the institutions, get involved in learn the Constitution. But nobody told me, remember the name of the guy who wrote the book. Why? Because the name of the guy who wrote the book that you are studying, you will meet him afterwards, or you will meet her afterwards. So I tend to suggest the people to join the tribe in your future tribe. You know who is this? his Mowgli, when he was leaving the jungle and getting into the town of the man. So you join the future, you join the people who will surround you in the future, and do it as soon as possible. So if you are interested in sports, in this sport, try to learn all the names. Try to, whatever you read the persons who have written what. Try to learn who thinks what. If there is an event, go there. Try to find those people. Try to interview those people if you are studying this or that topic. Try to get to the conferences. Try to be known. Try to use the social networks. They are there for that. LinkedIn is there for that. So any expert in a topic will be delighted to find peers. And if you are now beginning, okay, you are starting, but these persons will see you as a peer, as someone who may or might work with him or her in the future. So that is something that is very clear. I remember when I was in the European Parliament, I was proposing my boss to go to an event that had a lot to do with her topic. And she said, Alfonso, don't tell me the agenda. Tell me who's going. If the persons that are going there are worth, I will go. If not, I have other things to do. So the tribe was more important than the menu that the tribe was eating. So keep in mind that now that if you are studying, try to remember the names of the writers that write of the authors of the articles you are using for your papers. Try to meet the persons that are working in that, because they will help you. You will be a part of that community tomorrow. And be ready to change. Be ready to reset everything. Be ready to throw everything to the garbage. And be ready to start from scratch in 4 or 5 years' time. Why? That has happened to all of us. As I say, the traditional institutions gave us cards to play the deal, to play poker, for a deal that had nothing to do with that is changing, and that had nothing to do with the cards that we received. And we have to be like poker players. Poker players can get rid of 3 or 4 cards, and there's no problem. So you have to be able to get rid of that, because probably in the close future, okay, you have started working in environment, and suddenly someone, or you have an opportunity to work in something that is completely not related to the substance, but is related to your tribe, someone has identified you, and is related to other competencies that you have acquired during your career. Social competencies, problem-solving competencies, proactiveness competencies, attitude competencies. So be ready to use those competencies in the future and to reset the contents. And I have to say that 80% of the contents that we learn have an expiry date, because the knowledge moves so fast that, okay, a long experience cannot be so useful all the time. So after this, I would like to just to sum up these 3 steps. Get your profile, carpe diem, find your tribe, get involved in your tribe, be ready to change, and be ready and get the competencies to change in a changing world. I have to say that, for example, my mother knows what I'm doing. I think that after 6 years in the Committee of the Regions, my father still doesn't know very well what I am doing in Brussels. He says, he's in Brussels, I don't know very well what he does. But before the Committee of the Regions, he didn't know what I was working for in my city, where I was policy officer of an association of environmental companies, but he still didn't know. So there are so many new competencies that you have to acquire, that you have to be ready to use the procedures to learn and the procedures to adapt. And then enjoy the journey. That is my last message. Enjoy the journey, because, okay, we all have goals, but when you get to that goal, you find 2 things. Probably the emptiness, probably a deception, because the goal was not so exciting when you are there, or probably the syndrome of the postgraduate person, the syndrome of what to do with my life. It's something that everybody between 24, 28, everybody has that syndrome of what do I do with my life. So enjoy the procedure, enjoy the way, because you spend your life in the way. You don't spend your life in the goal. The goal is just one step. So just to conclude, well, I hope these few messages have helped you, because I had, well, this kind of distillation of knowledge has been quite difficult for me to do. It's something that I tell everybody, but there are people in different steps of the moment. But mostly, if I can convey you a message, is that we are talking about commitment, we are talking about excellence, we are used to talk about goals, but please think about life. Thank you very much.